them out if you ain't fucking know. Been having trips since I was a little bro. I got in my bag and I just hit the stove.
I done been so fucked up. Why you got me feeling like that? Yeah. I ain't got no tough love. Shit, I'ma get in my bag.
All right, you are now tuned into the Visionary Podcast. Today we got Withdrew, the design.
What's going on? How you living?
Shit, just chilling. So first off, let's get behind the meaning of your name, Withdrew, the design. How did you come up with that?
All right, the meaning of the name. All right, so I grew up in the early 90s in New York. All right, so like it was all boom bap era, golden era music, man. Like my first tape that I was handed, I was 5 years old. I got 36 chambers in a little Walkman boom, little headset from my brother. And from then on, it was just classic after classic. And I watched, growing up, I'm gonna be 34 in the next month or so. Excuse me. And I fucking watched the game go from something beautiful into something a little bit monotonous, a little bit plagiarized, a little bit beat up. You know, everything. You know, there's not too much originality in a lot of the music today. So I wanted to change it up. You know what I mean? I wanted to bring back, you know, a little bit of that classic feel with something new and some concepts that a lot of people need to wrap their mind around. Okay. So what that name is basically saying, you know, I'm here to change the game up a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm taking the design away and rebuilding.
Oh yeah. So like, are you like, when I first seen your name, I kind of thought of like fashion or something because, you know, it was design.
Right.
So like, are you a fashion guy or are you just a fucking?
Nah,
I'll just throw in whatever.
I mean, shit. Like maybe down the line one day, maybe I will be a fashion guy. I mean, I like clothes. You know what I mean? I'm not materialistic though at all. Nah. What it is basically, you know, like the design end of it. You know, I like to design things. I like to build things. Okay. You know, my family came over here from like Sicily and like helped build New York. You know, my family worked with the Rockefellers way back in the day and like helped build the highway systems in New York and some of the original, you know, bridges and some of the monuments out there on some of the beaches and shit. My family's all stonemasons. So they all build. So me, I like to build. So behind the design part, you know, I go into audio engineering, recording, creating production, you know, visually, you know, same thing. I like to edit. I do all my own editing, all my own mastering. Number of artists that you probably have heard, you've probably heard some shit that I've mastered up.
So what's your greatest piece of art to date? Yeah.
My favorite piece of art, I'll say, is Extraterrestrial. I would say is my favorite piece of art.
Okay.
And that was the one I released first onto like all platforms.
Okay. Oh, so it's on Apple Music and everything?
Yeah, it's on everything. There's a video for it and everything out there.
Oh yeah. So talking about back like in your parents, you know, moving from what was it, Italy? Yeah.
Well, my parents' parents.
Oh, okay.
You know
My bad. Yeah.
It was some generations ago, you know. Yeah. My grandfather wound up losing the business as far as that shit is concerned, and, you know.
Oh, okay. So
it all fell apart in that end. But like my whole family, still, my dad was a master mason, master carpenter. I've worked all various. My brother's a master carpenter. You know, like building is in my blood.
Oh yeah. So was all this in like New York going on in New York?
Yeah, a lot of it's in New York, and then we started branching out. My brother and dad and everybody and sisters and all that moved away from the area.
Oh yeah. So like as a kid, having your parent like work in the industrial part of the city. How was that? Because over here in Asheville, you don't like really see that much industry work, like unless you talk about like factories, like, you know, Amazon or something like that. But how was it up there in New York?
Like coming up in all of that type of hustle and bustle, and I mean, it was more fast paced. Honestly, around here, it's a lot more laid back, a lot more easy going. Up there, man, everybody's got something to do. Everybody's got an agenda, so it's constantly moving, never stops. That's why it's called the city that never sleeps. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So.
But besides that, man, I've lived everywhere. Besides, you know what I mean. New York was my home, was my birth and home, and I've gone back, but I haven't been there in years.
Damn. So what's stopping you from going back? Like, do you still have
Nothing.
family up there?
Nothing. Nah, I still got some family up there. I just life took me in another direction. I had kids young, and then I came to Asheville, raising them. My kids are getting up there, and they're 11 and 12 now. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So, does your kids like listen to your music or anything, or do you like?
My son, honestly, like whenever I'm creating in the studio, he always is like, hanging in there and trying to like put his 2 cents in. Later on, he'll be like, I like this and this about this and this.
You gonna try to get him into music?
Absolutely, yeah. Nah, just organically. Like my daughter loves, artistic shit. Like my big sister Marissa, she's a big artist. She done like some of the major movement in the glass blowing industry in New York, and like she makes clothes and she does all types of different creating. And my daughter's kind of like following along those foot lines too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
My daughter's 11 years old, already knows how to sew, paint, do all types of shit. Like I got some canvas work in my car that my daughter did.
Damn, yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
So let's talk about first getting into music. So like, how did that come about? Like, were you in school and like some friends was making music, or did you just think, oh, I got a voice for it?
My grandfather was a drummer in a jazz band in the Bronx, because my family's all originally from the Bronx. And he came up, in a different type of environment that was conventional as far as musically. And like when I was young, he'd teach me all like different syncopations and stuff like that, and have me listen to some of the old greats and stuff. And then from then, it was directly into hip hop. And then hip hop was probably my bread and butter, my soul soundtrack. Just coming up, because I lived inner city. I lived in some pretty blended areas, probably a lot different than what most people could imagine growing up in, Asheville or surrounding areas. Because it's, I will say, like, Asheville is the most blended area of the South that I've found, like, as far as, like, a nice mix of creative minds and different cultures. But it's still constricted to old ideologies and shit like that. So it's really, there's a lot holding it back.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like coming up where I'm from, the divide is in the class, not in the culture. You know what I mean? So you get people that grew up in, lower class areas, such as myself, that, everybody's everybody, whether you're brown, black, blue, whatever, white, yellow, whatever, right?
Yeah.
You're all just people in the same situation. You know what I mean? And then that's where the divide is. And when you come down here, it's a little bit more different, a little more political, a little more culture divide.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
I would say it is like political, because like, I don't know, most of the people I went to school with, like, there was definitely a political class in school. So I would say, like, Asheville was kind of political. But talking about, like, you living in New York, you said you lived in, like, other places. Can you, like, tell me the difference between New York and all the other places you've been to?
Facts, yeah. I mean, when I left New York the first time, I moved to Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, shit.
And Richmond, Virginia was murder 2 capital of the nation at that point. And I moved to an area, Falling Creek. And Falling Creek was predominantly African American. And me, I'm a mix of things. I'm Sicilian, Brazilian, Napolitan, Argentine, whole bunch of different shit. But like going down there, it was like, yo, white boy, what's good? I'm like, what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, word. It's like this down there.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like it was culture shock at first, and then like I got assimilated, and everything was good. But then I was only there for about 6 months, and then we went straight to South Florida. And South Florida, I moved to Fort Myers, and I lived Sable Palms, Michigan Avenue, Martin Luther King Boulevard. If people know about that, they know about that. It's a different world down there, whole different world.
Damn. So
Yeah.
so tell me some stories about down there. If you got any.
We'll leave that for another interview.
Alright.
But yeah, I mean, it was definitely an experience. My mom single mommed it out, and we struggled and we persevered and got through and all that. You know how it goes, man. That's the story. But that's another story. That's another chapter.
Damn. So let's talk about your first studio experience. Who brought you in? Like, how did you get connected with the person?
Well, my first studio experience was this cat Jibba in these projects in Port Jefferson Station, Long Island. And he was Eric Sermon's cousin. And he basically taught me a bunch about how to record and how to master and mix from like basic level. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And just kind of laid the basics. I was just young and wanting to spit at that time, but he was recording. And then my bro Willie Marciano, Ill Will, he also would record me and my squad back in New York a good bit. We used to, lace out freestyles. I don't even know if those tapes even exist. So if you're watching this and you got those, pull them out because I want some of those.
Facts. So did you connect to any other artists or anything, like when you moved, for example, from like Virginia to South Florida?
In South Florida, basically, like, my little people that I used to run around with, man, we used to blaze up and just cipher, We'd spit just about whatever, you know what I mean? We were just all hip hop heads, and we loved the music. And we just, Friday night, Saturday night, chilling, smoking, drinking, you know what I mean? We'd kick fly shit.
Hell
And
yeah.
that's how, that's the vibe of the, hip hop basically is, cipher. The cipher is where it's born.
Hell yeah. So I know you know Kilo and all them.
Mm-hmm.
When you first came to Asheville, who did you meet first, and like how did it come to be?
Well, Asheville, my first experiences out here. I first came to this city with a backpack full of clothes. I left my baby mama with everything down in South Carolina. Our son was 3 months old. There was no work down there, and I came up here in search of work. So I came up here with a backpack full of clothes, no fucking money. I stayed one night at the fucking Roadway Inn on fucking Smoky Park, and then I was on the street for a week until I met my homie Nate. And Nate is a Brooklyn cat. He's been all over the map too. And he showed me the bus line and how it all connects and shit like that, how everything works. And then he was, he introduced me to another homie. And these are my brothers to this day. I love them. Travis. And Travis is also a Brooklyn cat. And he was like, dude, you doing what? And he heard about my situation. He's like, yo, if you need anything, let me know. I was like, shit, I need a fucking couch, bro. He's like, word, I got you. I'm like, all right, bet. And I saved my money for a month, man, and then got me this spot on the north side on Short Madison at the 112 apartments. And and then I linked in. First day there, I met this cat, Reese. And Reese, is known around the city as Carolina Red. Me and him became, family, real quick.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace to my brother. But he was the first taste of the city's music that I really got intertwined with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did he show you anybody? Because I'm figuring that he showed you Kilo and
Kilo's his cousin, man. That's the go-to guys, man. They laced all types of fresh shit.
Oh yeah,
Shout out Kilo
most
Fresh.
definitely. I heard they brought in Zay and everything.
Yup.
How did you feel like when they like brought him in? Were you like,
Oh
shit,
no,
okay.
I mean, I met Zay, like I said, through Reese, and Zay's was like little bro to Reese, so
Oh yeah, most definitely.
fucking Reese was like, yo, this is fam. I'm like, word. So yeah, Zay is fam.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely connected through and through.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's what it is. It's fam for life. Reese started the fam for life movement, and all of us. You'll hear it in Kilo say, Zay say it. You'll even hear me say it and some shit, bro. Like, and then there's I know the whole family, and some of the family's gonna be getting involved in some of the music too, as far as Reese's side of things.
shit.
But I'm gonna keep that under wraps until that shit pops. But
Bet.
yeah,
Bet. So let's talk about your first studio session with like who was it with? Reese, Kilo, Zay.
my first studio session
Like
in
in
this city
yeah,
was
Nashville.
with Reese.
Reese.
It was me and Caroline Red, and you can go on SoundCloud and go check out these songs. But Streetlight and Truth. Truth is one of the most meaningful songs I've ever laid. And me and Reese were both on the same vibe. We were dealing with life and just feeling it, man. And we put together Truth, and Truth is basically just an illustration on how to do shit the right way and not fucking fall off in the mix.
Oh yeah. So would you say that's your favorite track with you and Reese, or?
Yeah, I would say that was my favorite track, because we had a lot of shit in the works, but then he wound up getting sick and dying. And,
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace to him.
So sorry to like kind of just jump topics. Tell me like what was your first studio session?
First studio session ever.
Yeah. And like how were you feeling?
I'm gonna say it was in Willie Marciano's fucking computer room, and we were lacing it up, man. I was blazed up, smoking some of that good super silver haze. New York got that piff back in the day, man. I hope they still got it. But back in the day, man, the haze was running rampant in New York, and we was just blazing up on some haze and just chilling in the cut, man, listening to beats, freestyling. And he's like, yo, let me hit record for you real quick. I'm like, all right. And then there's another group of people in New York that I'm going to mention right now, and that's, Don Dada. Shout out to him. He's an established artist. You can go look him up on anything. He's on everything. But he's been dropping shit steady lately, back again on YouTube. And Danny Fabrell, D-Fabs. All right. The two of them, we used to take this little fucking audio recorder, and it was just one of those little like ones for the work, workstation when you're at school and trying to fucking take memos, and we'd fucking lace beats and fucking record off of that shit. Cause fucking Don Dada used to make beats and shit like that. He used to get all types of beats. We used to download all types of beats. But Danny used to sing, and he'd spit too. Danny's a spitter too, but he's got smooth ass motherfucking voice. And we used to fucking them two and a couple other cats from the school we was at, Port Jeff at the time. We linked in, and we had a lot of sessions. There's some shit still recorded that I have. I hope y'all motherfuckers know I still got one of those tape recorders. But yeah.
Damn. So would you say that helped you like progress as an artist?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And it was all just off the love of the music, man. We just loved the fucking spit, man. We listened to fucking dope hip hop growing up, and fucking love that shit, man.
Did y'all like similar artists, or was y'all kind of like diverse?
I mean, like similar and diverse. You know what I mean? Like we all connect in different ways. Like me and Darren used to connect. Like he out of New York, and he's born and raised in New York, still in New York. But like that motherfucker has like that Midwest chopper style kind of, because he fucking grew up on Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know, he's a real fast, one of the fastest spitters I've ever met.
Damn.
Yeah, I'll put you on some of his shit.
Yeah, definitely. So what about freestyling? Is he like fast freestyler?
Fuck yeah, bro.
Hell yeah.
Straight up, man. Like, yeah, we used to have some crazy sessions.
Hell yeah. Any like session that you remember in particular that you want to talk about, or?
Not in this interview.
Baby, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
So, tell me about your first album.
My first album, all right, Withdrew from it all. All right, so like, for me, the music thing, like, it's always been a love, man, and it wasn't until I met Reese that I really thought about artistry as far as like an artist is concerned for myself being, you know what I mean? Because like, you know, I've always spit, I've wrote rhymes and shit like that. I have old rhyme books and shit.
Oh,
but
shit.
like, he was like, you know, all right, yeah, you can write some fucking rhymes, that's cool, but do you make songs? I'm like, well, yeah, I make songs. He's like, yeah, well, can you make albums? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. He's like, well, fucking do it. I was like, all right, well, shit, I'll fucking do it. And then I started thinking about it, and then came up with, you know, my name and shit. He gave me a name for a minute. For a minute, I was online as Ayo Drew.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm always like, yo, you know.
Ayo Drew.
Ayo Drew.
I fuck with that.
But fucking, it turned into Withdrew. I thought about what I wanted to do with my artistry and how I wanted to represent myself in this music. So I was like, you know what?
Hey, yeah. So what was your thinking behind your first album, Withdrew from it all?
I went through a couple of years where I was having a rough fucking patch. I was, you know, Reese got sick. My buddy, the main Brazil, people in the Ville better know Debo. Y'all know Debo. Rest in peace to him. You know, that was a big loss for me. And then when all that shit happened, I was like, you know, started thinking about things, and then I fucking just retracted from pretty much all fucking social situations, submerged myself in work. I was fighting wildfires at the time. And withdrew from it all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Took myself back and thought about what I really wanted in life. What, you know, who the fuck I wanted to be. And I started writing that album.
Oh yeah, so would you say that helped you with at the time that you was dealing with all that?
Absolutely, man. That's fucking music's therapy, bro.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
So how did you feel after that? Like, were you like, did it feel like a weight was lifted off your shoulder, or?
In a sense, I feel like I still got a lot more on my chest I need to let off. The saga's just begun, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just the beginning, right?
Exactly. No, I do feel like I got to break the ice with that, because what I did with that album was I just gave a little bit of each flavor I feel like I encompass. You know?
Okay.
So I put a little bit of myself in each, you know, a different part of myself in a little way in each one of them. Okay.
So talking about that, how would you describe your sound, like you personally?
My sound?
Yeah.
I would say, all my life, everybody's always told me I sound unique as a motherfucker. That I don't look like the voice that comes out of me should be coming out of me.
Nah, you have a deep ass voice, not even lie.
Right. So I would say my sound is unique, you know, and I'd say it's diversified, because in that the way I sound, there's a lot of different fucking layers to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I know that the R&B scene is kind of what's in mainstream right now. Like, do you do any like R&B shit? Cause like I don't see you doing that, but you know. I will say, like, I mean, I love the ladies. I love you, Bella, but I you know, I got a tender side, and I did put a song on my album that was a letter to my lady. Oh shit.
And
Okay.
it's more on the softer side of thing. I wouldn't go. It's probably on the R&B side of thing, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's me singing, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
think I
got,
checked it out earlier. I think it was it's on YouTube, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely checked.
It's called Letter to You. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put my baby in the video on that one.
Mad respect.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So let's talk about new music. Like, what you got in the vault right now?
All right. So new music coming up, what that y'all really need to be looking for
Pay
is
attention.
the Breakout tape. The Breakout tape is gonna feature, my own camp. Shout out. It's gonna feature Rockstar Sheed. It's gonna feature Sky Damage. It's gonna feature General Christ, Sage. It's gonna have some really dope artists on that. Mixed up with some industry artists. We're gonna have, King Crooked and Constantine featured on there. We're gonna have Stevie Stone featured on there. We're gonna have Killer Priest from the Wu-Tang family featured on there, and this is alongside some multi-platinum producers, Anno Damani, Legion Beats, and Wishmaster Beats. So
Oh yeah. So are any of those coming out with like any visuals or?
maybe not yet.
Yet?
The tape is just gonna be the tapes
Okay.
for now. We'll see if it progresses into some visuals, maybe. But I've been on my visuals right now. I've been working on another upcoming album. Y'all should be keeping your eyes posted for. Is going to be the Sick Minds Designs LP,
Oh shit.
and that's gonna feature. We got a lot of people that are a part of the Sick Minds family that you probably wouldn't realize, but we have Sky Damage, General Christ, Rockstar Sheed, D Soul, Young Savage.
Oh shit.
Where it's gonna be featured, Kilo Fresh. It's gonna have a track from, Carolina Red on there. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
It's gonna have some flavors on there. It's gonna be a really deep album. We've worked probably 3 years on this album so far, and most of it is produced, beats made by myself or other producers that are connected into the Sick Minds family.
Damn. Hell yeah. So talk about like the future and shit. Are you planning on doing any performances or anything?
Absolutely. I mean, before COVID hit, we threw a ton of Sick Mind shows. And then we also throw shows, shout out to the Butcher Kids and shout out to, Freedom, the 10th Wonder, because we connect and we all do. Shout out to Snoop, Cars and Bars now. I've done shows with Snoop.
Oh shit.
We've Sick Minds is low key connected with a lot of people in the city, and we're gonna be doing a lot more shows. I'm not gonna tell you dates yet because there's nothing definitive yet because everything's just starting to open back up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, keep on the lookout.
So since we're on the topic of shows, what has been your best venues and like what has been your best show?
Best venues and best shows.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in this city, I feel like a lot of people emphasize which is the best venue and which is this. This city is built very limited as far as their venues are concerned.
Oh yeah.
Even before COVID and all of that shit hit, there's not a lot of space, and a lot of the venues, even the biggest venue that we have is the Civic Center. You can only have what's the amount? It's like 50.
I don't know.
It's like 1,500, 2,000, something like that. Or 5,000. It's something really small. Something to where when mainstream artists want to come here and perform, they don't want to do it because they're not making any money. Because they try to keep this city under wraps. This is like a hideaway city for a lot of celebrities. They want to keep
definitely.
it. They want to keep it like. But like my favorite ones, I want to shout out Jesse over at Static Age. I've thrown most of my shows over at Jesse's, and that place is always a vibe.
I fuck with that place.
Great environment. Great people over there that run that. And then Sly Grog Lounge, shout out to the guys over at Sly Grog. They're like, you know, family too. We go in there and it's nothing but love. So like those two spots I have thrown the most shows. Now, back in, you know, like I said, we used to throw them at the block. We used to throw them at the Plug when it was the Plug,
sure.
but you know, the Plug is no more now. The Plug's moved to Gauze and Balls, so now, you know, I know Snoop's still doing his thing. So you could keep an eye out for maybe some Cars and Balls shows. You could keep an eye out for some more, you know, Sly Grog shows and some Static Age shows. I don't know if they still have the stage there. Last time I looked, since COVID happened, they took the stage out. So.
Damn. Yeah, so I know like a lot of artists have been doing their music videos at Cars and Bars. Or
Yeah.
have you thought about doing your next music video at Cars and Bars, or are you kind of like?
I mean, I want to I want to have the right song if I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it over there.
Okay.
I just, you know, I like the way I do my videos, man. Whatever feels right for the video.
Okay.
Shit. Shout out to Rockstar Sheet. His last one was over at Cars and Bars. Dope video. You should check it out on YouTube.
FYTB.
FYTB, exactly.
Yes, sir. So talk about like what are you planning for the future? Like, you know, are you marketing? Are you like, you know, trying to set up merch? Because I know like a lot of artists are trying to set up merch.
I mean, the merch will come. I'm just in it for the music, actually, bro. Like, I'm just gonna keep making music the way I love to make music, and I'm gonna keep taking steps forward with it. And if it, you know, when it evolves into what I plan it to evolve into, man, all the merch and everything that's gonna come.
Okay.
You know, branding that comes with fans, man. You gotta have the people to want the stuff to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see a lot, you know, and I don't knock anybody's hustle at all. I don't knock anybody's hustle. Get your branding up. If you got a merch, you know, do it with merch. Do it with merch. If you do it with just, you know, making connections, you do it with making connections. There's all different ways to do it, you know. Yeah, but there will be some Sick Minds merch coming up.
Hell yeah. So what's your next goal right now?
My next goal is just release the breakout tape, release the Sick Minds LP, and then move on to the next series of projects, man. Continue the saga, you know, the stories are in the music, man. You know, the jewels are in the music, so.
Hell yeah. So before we get out of here, you got a message to the youth?
Stay original, you know, and stay creative.
Hell yeah. So any shout outs?
Yeah, I shout out Butcher Kids. I'm going to shout out, you know, the whole Sick Minds family. I want to shout out Cars and Bars. Shout out Fam for Life. Shout out Simpire. You know, you guys know who you are. Shout out the whole team back in New York. GND. Good Never Dies. Shout out, shout out my people. Y'all know who you are. Shout out my mama. Shout out my dad.
Hell yeah.
Shout out my brothers and sisters.
So with that being said, we're going to close out the interview. You already know our links will be in the description below. So y'all make sure y'all go check that. Like, subscribe, and yeah, keep fucking with the vision.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.
Designer up on my clothes. Came out the mud if you ain't fucking know. Been having trips since I was a little bro. I got in my bag and I just hit the stove.
I done been so fucked up. Why you got me feeling like